So often we see videos where people are showing their perspective of their class or whatever, and what we don't often get along with that is what's going on in their heads during the encounter, why they're doing the rotation they're doing. So I wanted to set up a little series where as I'm fighting these bosses, I'm explaining why I'm casting what I'm casting, why I'm doing whatever and moving to wherever at any given instance, so that maybe, you know, folks who are trying to become better disc priest players can maybe get some insight into my style of playing. I need to point that out. There's many different styles of playing. My style tends to be more of an AOE type style, and you know, the decisions I make are reflected in that approach. So with this series, hopefully I can impart some knowledge and help some folks improve their skills playing disc. Heroic Grong is a massive AoE damage dealing fight, so it's perfect for our style. We start out with 2 radiances, and typically we do an evangelism followed by doing as much damage as we can on the boss as possible, as well as go ahead and starting our mana recoup with a Mind Bender and Power Word Solace. Here we target the second boss. Now what I'll do right before I do that is drop a Power Word Shadow Word Pain on the monkey before I switch over, and the robots go down pretty fast, so you have to watch out for ground clutter and just do everything you can to keep atonements on people and do as much raid-wide healing as possible. So I constantly am renewing radiances. I try to time it so that I have 2 radiances up when I do my evangelism, so I get as many atonements up with the extended period of time as possible. Do my Shadow Covenant regularly on cooldown in this fight. I keep Shadow Word Pain on, and when it comes to the tantrums, typically the first tantrum we don't bother with any cooldowns, but after that, you know, your raid leader will want to assign cooldowns. For myself, I originally was trying to use Luminous Barrier, where I give everybody a shield, but what I lost with that was the evangelism lengthening of my atonements. And while the numbers overall came out the same, I was only effective healing during the tantrums. The rest of the time I was just not doing well in the non-tantrum areas. So went with the evangelism, and when it comes my turn to drop a cooldown, I'll drop a barrier, and then I've got my little mini barrier.
You want the mirrors?
You switch back and forth between the boss and the ad, and you see how quickly the ad goes down. When he gets about halfway, I'll just drop a fresh Shadow Word Pain on him and turn around and head back to beating on the boss. Now, one thing you do have to worry about is if you get targeted for throw. If you see this in our group, we keep the spaces to the right and left of the boss open, so that if you get targeted with that throw, you will be able to move into those spaces. Now, as you can see, we just did the tantrum. I dropped my big barrier on the melee group and my smaller barrier on the rest of the raid group, and we did survive, and then we were able to stabilize the group again with radiances and you know, everything I could think of. Now, what I will tend to do in this fight is I will run out of you know, radiance atonements, and at that time, what you'll see me do is do a rapture, and then start just mass spamming the group with shields, and that way, you know, I get my rapture buff, plus I can, you know, really spam hard and get a bunch of atonements back up, and then follow that up with you know, continued just as much damage on the boss as possible to keep up with what's going on. Now, we do lose a few people in this. There are people, so, you know, you're always going to have people in groups that stand and stuff. This fight is, you know, it will test your healers, that's for sure, in heroic mode. It's much harder in heroic mode than it is in regular. But that's how we do it, and it was a pretty straightforward kill.
Good job, guys.
33K, not
That was
too
a lot
bad.
better than last time for Bo. She was the only
So,
one left.
as you saw, I just mentioned I did 33K heals, and that's due to the AoE nature of the fight. That's just what it is. So this
Finally
is one
got
of my
my
higher, one of my higher HPS fights. All right, well, thanks for coming, and we'll see you later.